You're now listening to the Engage the Rockies podcast, your go-to podcast for local and state issues concerning Colorado.
Hello, Colorado. This is your Engage the Rockies week in review for the week of October 7th through the 11th. If you'd like the show notes with links to the stories we're covering today, please visit engagetherockies.com and sign up to our email. Every Monday, we'll send you the list of articles we covered on our Friday episode. From around the state, ballots officially start being mailed out to voters on October 11th, but don't panic if yours doesn't arrive immediately. They're sent out over the course of a few days. Here are a few important dates to know as Election Day draws closer. October 11th, first day that the ballots are mailed to voters. October 21st, minimum number of required voting service and polling centers open. October 28th, last day to submit a voter registration application and get a ballot in the mail. November 5th, polls close at 7 p.m. on Election Day. Moving on. Former President Donald Trump will visit the Gaylord Rockies Resort and Convention Center on Friday, October 11th, with the event scheduled to begin at 1 p.m. Doors will open at 10 a.m. Ticket registrations are limited to 2 per mobile phone number. Trump said during a September 18th rally in Uniondale, New York, that he would be visiting Aurora and Springfield, Ohio in the next few weeks. Moving on. One person died in an equipment malfunction during a tour Thursday of the Molly Kathleen gold mine in Cripple Creek, according to the Teller County Sheriff's Office. By 7:15 p.m., the 12 who had remained trapped for more than 6 hours at the bottom of the mine wrapped up their ascent to the surface as workers fixed a broken elevator. 11 others were initially rescued after a mechanical issue happened at 500 feet. The initial call came in around noon, according to the sheriff's office. Officials said during a news conference in the evening after the rescue that all 12 were uninjured during the return to the surface, coming up 4 at a time using the elevator. Upon safe return, the group was fed a meal of pizza per their request. Officials confirmed all of the individuals were out-of-state tourists and were provided hotels for the night. None of them were made aware of the situation while they were stuck underground, other than being told of a broken elevator. Upon their ascent, officials said that they were grateful they were not told. Those stuck at the bottom of the mine had blankets, chairs, and water and were in communication with responders at the top while stuck. Moving on. Colorado Counties, Inc. has weighed in on the side of ranchers and agricultural organizations seeking a delay in the arrival of the next batch of wolves in Colorado. The organization's membership, which represents every county in the state except for Boulder and Denver, voted by acclamation last week to send the letter to Colorado Parks and Wildlife and the Department of Natural Resources. The October 7th letter thanked the agency for removing the Copper Creek pack last month, which had been killing livestock in Grand County. Despite their removal, wolves continue to kill livestock in the same area. CCI asked the agency to delay reintroduction efforts to address a number of issues that arose from the release of the first batch of wolves in Grand and Summit counties last December. Since then, the wolves have attacked and killed dozens of cattle and sheep, primarily in Grand and Routt counties. Wolves that migrated into Jackson County from Wyoming have also killed dozens of livestock in the past several years. The letter stated the rush to introduce wolves last December meant CPW staff had, quote, limited time to plan, staff, and educate impacted stakeholders about the realities of living with wolves, end quote. They cited the lack of communication and training, which they said left producers in rural communities vulnerable to livestock depredations. Colorado Counties, Inc., also known as CCI, pointed out that while Proposition 114, which was approved by a narrow margin and primarily by Front Range voters, estimated the program's annual cost at $800,000. Over a 4-year period, and as reported by Colorado Politics, the cost has now exceeded $5 million. Funding for the program is inadequate, CCI's letter said. From around El Paso County. El Paso County is planning a renewed focus on infrastructure and public safety and hopes to give property owners some financial relief, according to a Wednesday news release from the county. The El Paso County Services Department presented the plan during Wednesday's meeting of the Board of County Commissioners, outlining a $530.8 million preliminary budget that includes funding for road construction and resurfacing, stormwater improvement, a financial boost for the county's judicial and public safety systems, and an $8.25 million Tabor refund. As part of a multi-year plan to address a backlog of road improvement and construction projects, the provisional budget includes a one-time $12 million allocation to increase next year's road and bridge funding to $41.3 million. Under the proposal, residents would see an equal share of the taxpayers' Bill of Rights refund on their property tax bill, an estimated $36 per residential property, officials said. The county also announced a 13.7% reduction in the 2025 property tax mill levy due to Tabor, according to the release. The county's various public safety departments, including the 4th Judicial District Attorney's Office, Sheriff's Office, Pikes Peak Regional Office of Emergency Management, and Justice Services Department, would receive $1.4 million in funding in 2025. You can get the extensive list of expenditures by signing up to our Engage the Rockies email list. Moving on, Colorado Springs Police Department took one juvenile into custody after investigators conducted a search warrant related to the recent pattern of smash and grab burglaries at gun and vape stores. On Thursday, investigators with the Metro Burglary Unit and Strategic Investigations Unit conducted a search warrant in the 1100 block of Magnolia Street. In conjunction with the warrant, one juvenile offender was taken into custody for offenses including possession of a firearm. The investigation into the burglary pattern is ongoing, police say. And lastly, a 16-year-old juvenile has recently been arrested after making threats against Falcon High School in Colorado Springs last month. On September 17th, the Colorado Springs Police Department received an anonymous tip regarding a social post that made threats against Falcon High School, located in northeast Colorado Springs. According to a press release sent out Thursday afternoon, the information was forwarded to the El Paso County Sheriff's Office school resource officer, who launched an investigation. Investigators say the individual responsible for the threat was identified as a resident of Littleton, Colorado. The Littleton Police Department assisted in gathering evidence related to this investigation. As a result of the investigation, a 16-year-old male has been charged with 2 offenses: inciting destruction of life or property, a felony, and interference with students of an educational institution, a misdemeanor. Due to the threats originating in Littleton and based on communication with law enforcement, officials determined there was not an immediate threat to the school. Quote, "As sheriff, the safety of our children is a priority," end quote, stated Sheriff Joseph Roybal in the release. Quote, "We take every threat seriously and will leave no stone unturned to ensure our kids have a secure and safe environment where they can learn and thrive," end quote. Those are your top stories for the week of October 7th through the 11th. Please tune in each Friday for your weekend review from Engage the Rockies. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe for more great content. If you'd like the full articles from the stories we read today, sign up to our email list at engagetherockies.com and we'll send you our show notes each week. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Engage the Rockies podcast, your go-to podcast for local and state issues concerning Colorado.